Rosa Realty was founded in 2004 and is an end-to-end real estate services platform integrating residential brokerage, mortgage, title, and insurance with a state-of-the-art educational support platform. And the company has a unique business model, which is agent-centric with 100% commission. And with me is the CEO and founder, Joe LaRosa. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Always so interesting to talk about the real estate market. So
Absolutely.
Let's just start with, why did you decide to take LaRosa public, and when did that happen?
So we actually closed on our IPO back in October.
Okay.
So now here trading on NASDAQ. Very excited for the opportunity. You know, over the years, we've had really just been blessed to have the opportunity to become a disruptor in the marketplace, primarily in the state of Florida. We have expanded throughout the US, but I wanted to take that next step. And I felt the next step was really create an opportunity for our agents to become agent owners. And I wanted LaRosa not just to be about myself, I wanted it to be about our agents that have made the company what it is today.
Yeah, so explain that. How does the model disrupt the real estate industry?
So it's a very disruptive commission type model.
Okay.
So, you know, I think now what you're going to see here over the next several years is definitely a huge change in the landscape in real estate. A lot of the broker-centric models of yesterday are going to be really forced to have to adapt and evolve. And we wanted to create an opportunity for agents to truly earn as much of their commission as possible, but still getting all the value. So we really focused on delivering on technology, education, training, and support, but by offering agents 100% of their commission, which only required them to basically pay a monthly fee and an annual fee, okay, and a transaction fee on a transaction basis.
Mm-hmm. And what about today's consumers? Are they demanding these kind of changes? And what are you seeing on the front lines from the home buying public?
Well, I think over these next 12, 18, 24 months, you're going to see dramatic change. And it's not just because of what the needs are of consumers, but as well as, unfortunately, there's been a lot of lawsuits popping up across the United States, which have been kind of putting a lot of downward pressure now potentially on agents' commissions moving forward. Yeah. So we as a company are going to be able to provide a lot of flexibility to our agents because of our commission split that we offer. And I think that with that flexibility that agents now are going to receive at LaRosa, that gives them more opportunities now to do things now for the consumer that is really, I would say, a necessity in today's market.
Yeah. So what kind of innovative things are you doing in terms of business and technology to be able to adapt to this changing real estate industry?
So definitely, I would say there's two major things that we're doing right now. So obviously we're focusing on on technology. You know, I know a lot of folks are in the real estate space are afraid of AI in some capacity. They don't know if AI potentially can take over real estate, right? I think in almost any field today, there's always this fear of AI coming in and really, you know, taking over in some capacity. My feeling is it's not the agents that are going to be left out that are not going to, you know, just adapt to AI. I think you have to embrace it. I think you have to understand how you can utilize it in your business. So we as a company have built our own proprietary technology called My Agent Account. And we've actually included a very, very interesting AI component called Jamie, which allows for agents to really work smarter, not harder. So if they get a phone call at 1 o'clock today, and all of a sudden they have a client that wants to have them come by tonight at 6 o'clock, to talk to them about selling their house, it's simple. They go onto the system, they talk to Jamie. Jamie will prepare a listing presentation, a market analysis, everything that the agent would probably spend about an hour or so having to do, doing it within a matter of minutes. So that's a way for us that we feel like by taking that step to help agents now embrace AI. The other component is, going back to, as I mentioned before, some of these lawsuits have been popping up across the United States. That's going to force a lot of change, I think, in the real estate transaction. And we're actually going to be one of the first to pioneer a program that we're going to be bringing into all the markets that we're located in the United States, which is going to allow for the real estate transaction to become extremely transparent. And I think that there's been zero transparency in the real estate transaction literally for the last 30 years. So we're excited about really being one of the pioneers to bring that into the market, which is definitely going to benefit not just the agents, but as well as the consumers. And that's one of the things that we're going to be focusing on here this year.
Interesting. And what about other expansion plans, geographically, through other verticals? I mean, what are your plans for growth?
So we're not just a real estate brokerage, right? So LaRosa Holdings is the parent company of multiple real estate companies that are in the real estate space. So we have a property management company, we have a coaching company, commercial real estate, residential real estate. We're in the process now of acquiring title insurance and other ancillary services. So we're going to be looking to expand across the United States. Right now, from a geographic standpoint, We're primarily in the state of Florida, but we're in South Carolina, Georgia, New York, California, Texas, which we're very excited to be in the state of Texas, and Puerto Rico as well. So we're looking to continue to expand. Some states that we're definitely very, very excited to have the opportunity to now look to go into is going to be states like Tennessee and Arizona, and a few others. So we're looking to definitely expand our reach across the United States.
Some really fast-growing areas too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of people are moving to. What about attracting top talent? I guess these would be the agents.
Sure.
Right. So how do you go about that?
So, a lot of real estate companies will use the term agent-centric, and we do too as well, right? They use it very loosely. We want to really define what it is to be agent-centric, and that's really creating as much possible value as you can to agents, to teams as well, even to small, maybe mid-sized brokerages that can find a way to really join forces with us as a brand. So, we offer a ton of education, technology support, tools that are going to help agents, teams, small boutique brokerages really be able to now pass that down to their agents to really be able to offer them more resources to be successful in today's day and age. We always are looking to be ahead of the curve. So, we don't want to just do what everyone else is doing. We want to take some of those risks to really become leaders in the real estate space. So I think when agents, teams, and whatnot see the value that we have to offer and see all the resources, it really at that point becomes like, oh my gosh, like this totally makes sense. Like, why didn't I hear about this before? So, which is why we're very excited about where we are today now as a publicly traded company, to have the ability to get on that stage and to be able to actually tell the world, hey, this is who La Rosa is, look out, because we are going to become one of the leaders here in the real estate space.
Now, what about real estate transactions? Because they have been complex and lengthy and maddening, all the paperwork. Are you helping to streamline that process?
Absolutely. So over the last few days I've been hearing this term quite often about like the pizza tracker, right? I think a lot of times, a lot of, whether it's not just agents, but even consumers are completely, what makes it so complex is they don't know where they are in the process. And we want to be able to make it as transparent as possible. One of the things that we're really pushing now here in 2024 is embrace the transparency, not just from the agent side, but as well as to the consumer side. And I think that will really simplify the entire process and let folks know kind of where they are. And really create opportunity for them to really benefit the most from the transaction.
Yeah, make it less intimidating.
Exactly.
Especially for the first-time home buyer.
Yeah, there's one of the biggest challenges that we see is especially for new home buyers, is that, there's definitely that fear, intimidation of what is this going to be like? How much is this going to cost me? How long will this take?
What kind of surprises will there be?
Absolutely.
Things like that. Now, you referred to that Missouri case about the commissions. And are there more of these popping up? And elaborate on that a little bit, how you think that might change the industry.
Sure, absolutely. So, unfortunately, yes. Right now, I think what we're seeing is, I think there's about 20 of them right now across the United States. In essence, they're called copycat type lawsuits. And we'll continue to see more. And they're not just going after some of the big governing bodies. They're not just going after brokerages. They're actually starting to go after even teams and even agents on an individual basis. So I think potentially what this is going to do is this is going to force us to have to really change. And I think that's a good thing. I think there's definitely this need for change. The real estate transaction, as I mentioned before, hasn't evolved in the last 30 years. So now there's time for some change, and we're really trying to make a big push on, like I mentioned before, being a pioneer and bringing this new type of technology into the marketplace that's going to allow for that transparency. And I think what you'll see is also, I think there could be some potential downward pressure on agents' commissions going forward, because that's the big argument, obviously. And so what we do at La Rosa is really create that opportunity with the flexibility in our commission structure to allow agents that if there is that reduction or there is that downward pressure, still gives them an opportunity to really be able to maximize whatever dollar that they can actually earn in the transaction.
I see.
I think there was a study done or a survey done where about 85 and 87% of buyers today still feel that agents deserve a commission. So I don't think you're going to see a tremendous downward pressure, but there potentially could be a small one.
No, for sure. I mean, they spend a lot of time and, showing people homes and doing research and things like that. So it's a job. They deserve to get paid for that. I get it.
Absolutely.
Now, often disrupting entities that come into like an established, entrenched industry face some resistance. Are you seeing any of that?
Well, of course, to some capacity, right? So some of the traditional broker-centric models that have been, out there for years are always going to, it's a competition, right? And I love competition. I think competition can make us all better. We have to just focus on what we want to, achieve, like the goals that we want to achieve, the objectives that we have, and whatever challenges that come across our path, we look at them as good opportunities. And so whenever these traditional models or even some of the regulatory bodies that are going to be coming out to us and saying, okay, hey, are you really going to disrupt the market in this way? We're not going to tell them as much that, hey, yeah, we're going to become a disruptor. We're focused on being able to look out what's best for the agents and look out what's best for the consumers.
Mm-hmm. So. And what about long-term goals?
Long-term goals is to continue to expand across the United States. I mean, I feel that over the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see a dramatic change in the real estate landscape. And we, as a brand, La Rosa, are really focused on now becoming one of the leaders in the real estate space here in the next 3 to 5 years. So, if you go out there in the streets today and you survey, folks, who the top 3 or 5 companies, they're not going to probably mention La Rosa today unless they're coming from a market that we currently have offices in. But the goal is in the next 3 to 5 years, anyone that you come across off the street, they're going to know who we are as a brand.
Okay, well, thank you so much for explaining La Rosa.
Thank you so much.
Very interesting to see where real estate is headed.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks
Thanks so much for your time.